again, and welcome to day 8 of my stash busting challenge. Today's pattern is this little scrunchie, and I actually do have one in my hair. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. I have a lot of hair, folks, but I'm gonna kind of bend down and see if you can see. Look, I have the little ribbons hanging out here, but it's a super cute pattern. The reason I did this is because my daughters wear so many scrunchies. They love them. For me, I laugh because I was a child of the 80s and the 90s, and these were a big thing in the 80s. And after that, I didn't really see them all that much. Usually you just wear the little regular hairband, which is typically what I do. But my daughters started asking for these scrunchies, and I was like, what a cute idea. So I came up with some of the scrap yarn that I had to make these little scrunchies with these little ribbons that kind of hang down off the ends of your hair. Like I said, I have a lot of hair, so I don't know if you can see it, but I am wearing a little pink one right here. But anyway, so that is today's pattern. Let's learn how to do it. To complete this pattern, you will need 25 to 30 yards of medium 4 worsted weight yarn. You will need a hair tie of any size. I like to use ones that are seamless, so there's no little bracket or anything in them. A tapestry needle, a 5mm crochet hook, and embroidery scissors. This pattern is constructed as 2 separate pieces which are then assembled. The main body of the scrunchie is worked by creating a tubular structure that works around a hair tie like this one here. The ends are then seamed together to form a large ring. We then create the tassels, and we will attach the tassels using an extra bit of yarn to make our scrunchie complete. Okay, so we're going to start the body of our scrunchie by forming a slip knot and then chaining 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay? Then we're going to go ahead and we are going to place this chain through the center of our rubber band here, okay? So the center of our hair tie, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch right here to this first stitch here. So we now have basically 2 interlocking rings, all right? Next, what we're going to do is we are going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet into what I call the back post only. So I'm going to kind of turn this crocheted ring around. So on this side, so this is usually the top of your crochet project, and this is usually the bottom of a foundation chain. So if it was flat, it would be like that. I call these the back post, these little bumps on the underside, and that's where I want you to work for now. So I want you to work into these little back posts all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet all the way around here, back up to here, okay? So let's start here. We're going to start in this back post right here, and we're going to make a single crochet. All right, and we're going to do that in each back post all the way around. Okay. Now, as you work, one thing you're going to notice is that your crocheted ring will continue to rotate. So you can continue to rotate this without doing much with the hair tie, okay? All right, so you see how I'm just kind of moving it up to the next stitch. So it's rotating like this through the hair tie. All right, almost there. Okay, so we're all the way back around to where our slip knot is, which is right here, okay? And what we're gonna do is we are going to do what's called crochet continuously, which means I'm gonna skip over this slip knot, okay? I am not going to chain one, I'm not gonna turn my work, I'm not gonna do anything like that. I'm just gonna continue crocheting. I'm gonna start into this first stitch here, and I'm gonna continue crocheting all the way around, get back, and just continue crocheting. No chaining, no turning, nothing. This is called working continuously. And that's what we're going to do to make our tube that's going to go around this hair tie here. So I'm just going to skip over this slip knot here. And what we're going to do is we're going to work continuously into the back loop only of each of our stitches, making a single crochet. If you need a refresher on where the back loop is, every crochet stitch from the top looks like this, like a little V. This is your front loop and this is your back loop. You're just going to insert your hook through the back loop, yarn over, and make a single crochet, and just continue doing that all the way around. So you're going to make kind of like a spiral that will grow into a big tubular structure, okay? So let's do that. Okay, so you can see that my little tube is already starting to form. And what I wanted to show you at this point is that this is actually the inside of my tube, and I really want this to be the outside of my tube. You see where all these little ridges are coming? So as you're working, if the way you worked it is to where the inside is kind of flat and it's on the outside right now, you're just gonna wanna flip your tube, and you wanna do this before too long, okay? So that way your ridges are on the outside like this, and then just continue working into the back loop only all the way around, okay? But this way, if your tube just happened to be upside down, you can get it into the right position before it's too big to flip over, okay? Okay, I'm just popping back in real quick to show you how this tube is progressing, okay? And as you work, you'll notice it's that before you were kind of rotating more of the ring that was the crochet ring. Now you're kind of like rotating, kind of just pulling the hair tie as you work, okay? Because this is just getting so large that moving the hair tie actually ends up working a little better as the tube grows, okay? All right, so let's keep working. You want to go all the way around, and what you want to do is you want to actually have a bunch of extra. So you want to be able to cinch this kind of like either like this one or like this one, and that's really kind of to your preference how you want to do it. This one was a little bit more twisted as I did it, and this one was a little bit more flat like this one. That's just personal preference. You can do that as you work. But you're going to want to definitely have a bit extra here so you can stitch up on the sides and stitch up on the sides to give that scrunchy look. All right, so let's just keep working at it. Hey-ho, I'm just popping back in real quick to show you that as this tubular structure is being formed, and as I move it around, the hair tie around to get to my stitches as I continue to work around here, that is what's causing this twisted appearance here. And it can look very different depending on how you twist each time you make it. It can be very different. This one has a lot less twist. This one has a lot more twist. This looks like this might end up being more kind of a medium twist one. Okay, so it looks like I do have a bit more to go. I still have a lot of loose part right here, and I really want to make sure that I get all the way to this end and with a little bit of extra. So I have a little bit to go, and so I'm going to go work on that, and I'll be back when it's time to seam these two edges together. Okay, so I am back here at the end of the main body of my scrunchie, and you can see I have kind of a little bit of a twist here. I'm gonna actually want to put a little bit more of a twist here, and I have a little bit, if you can really see this, I have a little bit actually a bunch of extra on these ends here that I don't, to kind of give that squishy look. So I went as much as I possibly could, or to where the point where I kind of got the look that I wanted to get, and now these are close enough for me to seam them together. So that's what I'm going to do. It doesn't really matter where you stop over here during your crocheting. You know, actually to see this where this wasn't scrunched up, what you would see is that one side of the circle is actually higher than the other because you are crocheting continuously. So it's like in a spiral like this, and one side kind of is getting built a little higher than the other. But that doesn't matter for what we're doing here. You won't even be able to notice. So what we're going to do is we're going to just seam these two edges together, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm literally just going to slip stitch the two ends together. So I'm going to start where I am right here, and I'm just going to grab anywhere I want on the other side of the tube. So I'm just going to grab anywhere over here I want, insert my hook, and slip stitch, okay? And then I'm just going to keep doing that around. So I'm going to go into a stitch here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this one here. So now I have inserted into this stitch here, but I also want to insert into a stitch on the other side of the tube. Okay, so I'm going to go into this stitch here, pull through both, okay, and then pull through here. Okay, so those are starting to be sealed together. So now I'm going to go into the next stitch right here, and I'm going to go across into the next stitch over here. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull through this one here, pull through the stitch here, and pull through the loop here. And I'm going to do that all the way around, and that is going to seam both sides together, okay? So into the next stitch, right here, across to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through both of those stitches, pull through that stitch. Okay. Insert into this one, go across to the next one, yarn over, pull through, okay. Insert into the next one here, insert across, pull through both, pull through, insert into the next stitch right here, go directly across, grab the stitch over here. This can get a little bit cumbersome, and if you have bad eyes like me, you're going to want to kind of get it up close to your face. Okay. All right, cross, pull through, okay. Let me kind of pull this out here because this is an end that we're going to want to weave in. We don't want it to get stuck. There we go. Okay, into our next stitch right here, and directly across, pull through all of them, into our next stitch right here, and we want to go directly across, which is actually this stitch right here, pull through all three of them right here. All right, we want to go into our next stitch here and go directly across, which is this stitch right here, pull through, okay. And it looks like we are sealed all the way around, okay. And what it kind of looks like at this point is you've got this kind of big seam right here where the two ends are sealed together, but don't worry about that because that is going to get covered up when we move on to the next part, okay? Okay, so when you're done seaming these two edges together, what you're going to notice is that there is quite a large seam right here, but I don't want you to worry about that because we're going to cover that up once we make the ribbon and add the ribbon here to the bottom. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to bind off, leaving at least a 3-foot tail or longer, because that's what we're going to use to wrap around here to hide this seam and attach our ribbon to our scrunchie. Okay, so now let's make our ribbon. To do this, we want to start with a slip knot, and then we want to start by chaining 2. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So this would be 1 and this would be 2. I like to go into the back post only, so that would be this post right here, and I'm going to work a single crochet. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Now what we're going to do is we are going to chain 1, we are going to turn our work, and we're going to work 2 single crochets into the single crochet right here. 1 and 2. Okay, so now what we've done, okay, is we have turned that 1 single crochet that we had here into 2 single crochets. So we have increased from 1 to 2. And now we're going to chain 1 again. We are going to turn our work, and we're going to work 2 single crochets, and we're going to start into the back loop only. So right here, 1 and 2 of your next stitch. And then we're going to work 1 single crochet into the back loop only here of the second stitch. Okay, that gives us 3 stitches. Chain 1, turn our work, work 2 single crochets into the back loop only of the first stitch here, work 1 single crochet into the back loop only of our second stitch. Okay, and then we're going to work 2 single crochets into the back loop only of our last stitch, and this should increase our stitch count from 3 to 5. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to chain 1 and turn our work, and what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet into the back loop only of each stitch all the way across. So we're going to keep with the 5 stitches. That should be 2, 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Okay, and we're going to repeat that 2 more times. All right, so chain 1, turn our work, single crochet into the back loop only of each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here is 5. Chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to do that 1 more time. Single crochet into the back loop only of each stitch across. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. Okay, now what we're going to do is we started out here by increasing. We went from 1 to 5. We're going to start going the opposite direction. We're going to start decreasing. Okay, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to single crochet 2 together the first 2 stitches in the back loop only. So I'm going to go 1 here. I'm actually just going to twist, go into the next one here, yarn over, pull through all 3, and I've turned those first 2 stitches into 1. Okay, and then I'm going to single crochet into the back loop only of the next 3 stitches, and we've now gone from 5 stitches to 4 stitches. Okay, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to single crochet 2 together the next 2 stitches. So I'm going to insert my hook, I'm going to twist my hook, insert it into the next stitch, back loop only, yarn over, pull through. Okay, and then I'm going to single crochet into the back loop only of each of the next 2 stitches, and that gives me 3 stitches. Okay, I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to single crochet 2 together these next 2 stitches. I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop only here, twist it, insert it into the back loop only here, yarn over, and pull through. All right, single crochet into the back loop only of this last stitch here. Okay, and that leaves me with 2 stitches. Okay, now I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work, and I'm going to single crochet into the back loop only of each of these 2 stitches. Okay, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to repeat that 2 more times. I'm going to turn my work, single crochet into the back loop only of the next 2 stitches. It's 1 and 2, chain 1, turn my work, single crochet into the back loop only of my 2 stitches here. Okay, so now we've created one part of the ribbon. We're kind of creating the center part of our ribbon, and now what we want to do is we're going to go and we're going to create another part of this kind of fat, or I don't know, this sort of, I don't know, fish-shaped part of the ribbon. We're going to create another one over here. Okay, and now what we're going to do and how we're going to do that is we're going to start making increases one more time. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to work 2 single crochets into the back loop only of our first stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the back loop only of our last stitch. We've now gone from 2 to 3 stitches. Chain 1, turn our work, work 2 single crochets into the back loop only of our first stitch. Okay, 1 single crochet in the back loop only of our middle stitch. Okay, and our second stitch here. Okay, that gives us 4 stitches. We've gone from 3 to 4. Chain 1, turn our work, work 2 single crochets into the first stitch. That's 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet, and this is of course into the back loop only. 1, 2, 3 of our remaining 3 stitches. Okay, we now have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to work 1 single crochet into the back loop only of each of the 5 stitches here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and we're going to repeat that 2 more times. So chain 1, turn our work, and single crochet into the back loop only of each stitch. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. Okay, and now one more time, chain 1, turn our work, single crochet into the back loop only of each stitch across. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and here is 5. Okay, and now we're going to start making that downward. Again, we're kind of like here, we're in the center part, and now we're going to start making that downward peak again right here, the downward slope to a point. All right, again, we're going to do this by single crocheting 2 together. Okay, so we are going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work, and we're going to single crochet 2 together in the back loop only these first 2 stitches. So I'm going to go into this one here. I'm going to turn my hook, place it into the back loop only of the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then we're going to single crochet into the back loop only of each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. That gives us a total of 4 stitches. Chain 1, turn our work, single crochet 2 together the next 2 stitches, single crochet into the back loop only of each of the next 2 stitches. Okay, and that gives us 3 stitches. Chain 1, turn our work, single crochet 2 together, the next 2 stitches. Okay, single crochet into the back loop only of the last stitch here. That gives us 2 stitches. Chain 1, turn our work, and single crochet 2 together our very last 2 stitches. Okay, and there you have it. We've created the ribbon. Now I want to show you quickly here that I switched my single crochet 2 together technique. There are actually a couple ways to single crochet 2 together, and I had been consistently doing one way and I just showed you a completely different way. So I'm just going to go back, okay, just for consistency. I'm going to insert in here, twist my hook, insert into this hook here, yarn over and pull through all 3 just for consistency, just so I don't confuse you guys, okay? All right, and we have now made our ribbon. We're going to bind off. Okay, so now our ribbon is complete, and if you want at this point you could go ahead and weave in your ends. I'm not going to do that, so I can just kind of get through the video and show you how we go ahead and attach it to our scrunchie. So we now have our scrunchie with our very, very long tail and our ribbon, and what we want to do is we want to put that center of the ribbon right up along the bottom edge of where we seamed the 2 edges of the scrunchie together. And then we're going to use this really, really long tail, and I'm going to have to push the little ball through here. We're going to use this really, really, really long tail to wrap it all together and cover up the seam. Okay, so we're just going to wrap that all the way around, and we're going to keep putting that through the center of our scrunchie. Okay, and we're just going to continuously wrap it. Okay, and we're going to take that, we're going to do that with our entire ball here. We're just going to keep wrapping around and around and around until you get the look that you want, till the seam is nicely covered and your ribbon is nicely attached. Okay, and then once that is done, you're going to want to go ahead and use a tapestry needle to weave in this last end, and then your scrunchie will be done. Okay, so now I have wrapped my tail all the way around. I have covered up that big old ugly seam. I have attached my ribbon. So what I would do at this point is I would simply bind off, and then I would weave in all of my ends, and the scrunchie will be complete.